Hello, and welcome to Pisces Moon Astrology. I'm your astrologer, Kate Leonard, and I'm excited to explore the stars with you. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the week of April 19th through April 25th, although quite frankly, you might want to sit this one out. Because I'm not going to lie, there's a lot going on in the sky, too much for me to talk about, and I'm going to do another, like I did last week, I'm going to put out a general cosmic energy episode, and then I'll put out a second one on the sign by sign, because realistically, I just can't do it all. I'm not going to lie. This week, yeah, it's tough. It might be one of the more tough periods of the year. Now, I'm not going to lie. It is one of the most tough periods of the year. So I'll get into that as soon as I make my announcements. So first, the fun one. I'm going to be speaking this week at an event called Bridging Wisdom, Stories as Medicine. This is being put on by 8 Branches Chinese Medicine. They have an in-person option and an online option for attending. It is April 19th from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Central Daylight Time. I think that's what CDT means, Central Time. Anyway, you can figure that out. The link to the event is going to be down in the show notes. And so this is kind of it's not a workshop. It's kind of a discussion, sort of a stories from the elders kind of thing. And I'm going to be talking about my favorite subject, seizing the energies of the stars. If you listen to me, I'm sure that that is very familiar. And I have kind of a philosophy that goes along with that little saying, and I'm going to be talking about that. I would love it if y'all could be there, online, in person, wherever. It's by donation, and the suggested donation is $26. Anyway, the link is down in the show notes, and one thing I can say is I have worked with this organization before, and they are just amazing, amazing people. So it'd be good to go over and look at their site and see what they've got going on anyway, because honestly, they're just doing really incredible work bringing together community. So that is my first announcement. It's Bridging Wisdom, Stories as Medicine, April 19th, 10 to 12 p.m., whatever CDT is. Central Time? I don't know. You do you. Go over and check it out. The other announcement I have is that I'm putting my Substack on an indefinite hold. I've thought long and hard about this, and I've been telling all of you this is a year of gigantic change. This is a year about each of us really looking at what our lives are about, how we spend our time, our energy, and really restructuring. I've been saying this since January. It has a lot to do with the Saturn-Neptune in Aries. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go back and listen to some of the earlier episodes of the podcast. But as I've been, I live under the same sky y'all live under, right? So these things, even though I see them coming and I maybe know my chart better than most people and all of that, but like all of you, I have to grapple with how this energy really plays out in my life. And as you probably know, I do a lot of things. My number one job is an astrologer, working with clients one-on-one as a spiritual counselor, as a predictive astrologer. I do medical astrology. I do astrocartography, which is the astrology of place. I do synastry astrology, where we look at two people together and learn about their relationship. So I do a lot of things. I work with a lot of clients, and that's really my number one thing. But I'm also an herbalist. I'm also a pagan practitioner, and I do magical workings for people and with people, and I do those consultations. So I've got a lot going on. And of course, I have this podcast, which I love madly, and I'm grateful for all of you. I was hoping that the Substack and the podcast would go together, right? That especially when I switched and started doing the sign by signs, I was hoping that y'all would go over to Substack, read the general astrology, and then listen to the sign by sign on the podcast, but I'm not really seeing that happen. I don't know if people just don't like to read. I don't know if people aren't drawn to Substack. I don't know what it is. And if you want to share your insights with me, please do. I'm not yet, quote, quitting the Substack, but I am putting it on an indefinite hold. Anyway, that's where I'm at right now. I just wanted you to understand what's going on and why. Nothing's wrong on this end. I'm just trying to focus my energy, kind of to where my heart calls me and where you call me. If everybody was jumping on the Substack, then I'm happy to do that. So anyhow, enough of all of that. Let's talk about this week. You ready? This is going to be the general forecast, but please listen to it. It will help you make sense of that little bit I'm going to give you in the sign by sign, which I'll post in a day or two. Anyway, what's going on this week? On the 19th, straight out of the gate, we've got the Mars conjunction with Saturn in Aries. I don't have to tell most of you that that is the two malefic planets sharing the same degree in the same sign. That's intense. The god of war, fiery Mars, with Saturn, the god of the old ways, cold, slow, protective of what's always been. Mars, let's make it new. Let's jump out there and get some new stuff done. It's an interesting and somewhat difficult energy. Just to add to that, on the 20th, we've got Mercury joining them. So we're going to have a triple conjunction, Mars and Saturn with their very difficult energy, and Mercury. What's Mercury? It's our mind, our thoughts, our communication, everything we do in the marketplace. And he's joining up with Mars and Saturn. Keep that there, right? Keep that in your head. Also travel. So this is a week that honestly, I'll just lead with this because I'm not going to go into it in detail. But if you don't have to travel this week, just don't. I'm not trying to scare you, but honestly, if I didn't have to travel this week, I wouldn't. Not with Mercury and Mars together. Nope, wouldn't do it. Not me. No way. All right. There's a lot of other stuff going on, y'all, but I'm only going to mention a few things, and I'm going to mention them briefly, okay? Because we've got some major movement happening. The sun is going to leave Aries. Oh, thank you, because that's going to, remember, we've had that giant stellium in Aries, which has been so difficult for so many people. And the sun is going to go into Taurus, and that is going to be shining light on stability, comfort, security. What house is occupied by Taurus in your chart? That's where you're going to really be focusing on stability in that area of life, okay? That's happening on the 19th. On the 23rd, Venus leaves her throne in Taurus and enters Gemini. In Gemini, she's kind of lovely. This is a great time for social interactions, networking, all of that stuff. But be careful, because Mercury, our communication, is over there with fiery Mars in combative, impulsive Aries. And so Venus is going to help our social interactions, but do just choose your social partners carefully. If it's somebody that you're already feeling a little bit edgy about, maybe put them off for a week. That's what I would say. Anywho, then on the 25th, Uranus is leaving Taurus for good. It is going into Gemini, and it's going to stay there until May of 2033. So long transit, right? It's going to bring innovation, experimentation, breakthrough in technology, travel, communication, how we socialize. I want you to remember that earlier in the year, I was talking about all that energy, especially the Neptune-Saturn thing in Aries. I really think a lot of us are going to go back to interacting with people in real life in our own well-chosen small communities. And I think it's possible that even though Uranus in Gemini has a lot to do with technology and all of that, I do think it's also going to make us really very individualistic and like, no, I want to get together and socialize with, communicate with my people, my tribe. I don't know. We'll see. It's got 7 years to play out. So I'm not going to go into any of the other things. There are too many things going on, as I already said. So what I wanted to talk to you about, and again, I'm going to do the sign by sign, but listen to this stuff. It's super important, okay? Again, we're looking at Aries, just like we've been doing like all year. Well, we're still there. So Mars and Saturn are both challenging planets. The ancients called them the malefics for a reason. They're difficult. They have good. Mars, you know what I always say, the noble warrior or the psycho killer. Saturn's interesting. People don't like him because he's the old way. He's tradition, and he's hard work, and he's limitation. And Saturn will tell you no. You want to go do the thing. I got an idea. Yeah. And Saturn will go, no, nuh-uh. Not going to do that. It's not going to work. And if it is going to work, you're going to have to work hard for it if Saturn's involved, right? So we all don't like Saturn. But I want to remind everyone, Saturn also helps us climb the mountain to success. Saturn rules Capricorn. And while he never gets credit for this, he also rules Aquarius. So he's got that visionary quality that nobody ever credits Saturn with. Saturn, you can't climb a mountain that you don't have some sense of what the goal is, right? Looking ahead and like, wow, when I get to that mountain peak, the vista before me is going to be profound. Saturn also brings that for us to look ahead, but realistically see the future and then step by step by step go toward it. Saturn also helps us set our boundaries and create foundations that are going to last. So Mars and Saturn can be less than fun. And I think this week they're going to be less than fun, but they bring gifts as well. So stay with me for that. How are they going to be less than fun? Old ways and new ways at war with each other. This could be generational. So if this falls in your home and family, yikes. Maybe don't go visit your parents this week, okay? This could definitely be that. If it falls in, your 10th house, this could be about the boss who always wants to do the same thing when your new idea. You've got this great idea that if only he had the vision to see it. So they're not compatible. Mars is hot, Saturn is cold, Mars is fast, Saturn is slow, and there's going to be a lot of push-pull, a lot of no, I'm setting boundaries, you want to go too fast, a lot of no, we've got to do it the way we've always done it, stick to tradition, while Mars is like, I'll shoot you in the face because I'm going to do it this new way because Mars could get crazy and he's really strong in Aries. Saturn is not so strong. So that warrior kind of energy is going to be loud. Ultimately, I think it's probably going to win, but win with battle. Okay. So what am I telling you? I'm saying look at the area where Aries is in your life. You may also look at Capricorn and Aquarius because Saturn rules those two signs. And in addition to Aries, which is one of the signs that Mars rules and the one this is happening in, he also rules Scorpio. So that sign could be impacted as well. And at best, I think there's going to be a lot of push-pull. I want to go fast. No, slow down. I want to get this done. No, you don't have permission or whatever it is, right? Or we don't do things that way. Yeah, but we should try something new. Nuh-uh, don't want to. You know, that kind of thing, just a lot of push-pull. But I also see arguments and, you know, whatever kind of metaphoric battle, right? I do see battle this week. So then we bring in Mercury. This is our communication. Arguments, 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 all the stuff I just talked about. At war with yourself. Mercury is our mind and our thoughts. You could be struggling psychologically, mental, emotional health could be a little bit like a super ball bouncing all over the room. Do they still have super balls? Does that metaphor work anymore? What I'm trying to say is you could be a little bit bouncing off the walls, okay? Where it's like the push-pull is happening internally. You get all excited and then you put the brakes on yourself and it could really wear you out and make you a little unwell. Again, I'm going to say if that is you this week and you feel like you need rest, get rest. You feel like you need support, get support. Okay, because this is real. This energy is intense. But the other thing, Mercury rules, the ancients said, what happens in the marketplace. So the exchange of money, business, contracts, all of that kind of stuff. Yeah, there could be some arguments around money. There could be some, fights about some kind of business dealing. This is just not a week that I would say sign contracts, go on job interviews, all of that kind of stuff. Yeah. Now, if you have to, you have to. And I'm going to get to the good about this configuration. I promise there is good. But if you don't have to do this stuff, let it go for a week, okay? Let it go for a week. All right, so let's get to the good though. Saturn is about structure and about reaching goals. Mars is momentum, energy, the courage and will to do things. So what happens when they meet? The other thing that Mars rules is cutting, separating, severing. Like literally in medical astrology, he rules things like surgery and amputations. All right, like literally cutting things off. So you will probably find that whatever's coming up for you this week, the way through it is to look at how do you need to restructure this? Your proposal, your communication strategy, whatever it is, right? Whatever it is, how do you need to restructure it? And I promise you, it involves being willing to cut. What needs to be edited out? What needs to be cut out of the plan so that you can make a tighter structure? It's almost like, think of a pyramid upside down. It's going to fall down. But a pyramid standing on its base, centuries don't take it down. This week will go well if you look at where the structure has maybe gotten top heavy and you need to cut some stuff out, cut some stuff off so that your foundation is more, so that your structure is more secure on its foundation. Does that make sense? So go into this week, one, avoiding some of the places, some of the interactions where you think blowups are likely to happen. If you can do that, that's going to save you a world of pain right there. But we still have to live through this week, and there are gifts. There are gifts. Use this energy correctly. Make the edits that need to be made. Cut out the dead weight. Be willing to let go of things so that your structure is solid and you can actually attain that goal. That's what this week is good for. It's a week. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sugarcoat this week. It's a week. But we do have Venus moving into Gemini, where we're going to get a little bit of support with our social interactions. So I think if we just postpone the most, quote, dangerous interactions and be willing to cut and edit, get really brutally honest with yourself. Saturn rewards that willingness to just get real. And Mars will help you do the cutting, right? So I think good can come this week. And I just think it's helpful to know what the whole picture energy is so that you can be ready, make your plans, kind of look at your calendar for the week. What kinds of things would possibly be better postponed for a week? That's what I got to say. Anyway, everybody, please go check out the Bridging Wisdom series over at 8 Branches Chinese Medicine. I would love to see you over there. Let me know one way or another. Reach out. My contact info is in the show notes. Or go over to Substack. It will go up this week, just not with a lot of astrology stuff in it. Go over there. Let me know what you think about me putting the Substack on hold. If it's something valuable to you, I will keep it. No problem. I just want to make sure that I'm putting my time and energy in ways that work for me and the structure of my life. See how I'm already cutting and restructuring? That's what I'm talking about. But I also feel that it's my calling to serve you. So let me know if losing Substack would matter to you. Anywho, that's what I've got for this week. I hope that it helps you navigate this intense energy better. And yeah, until next week, go out and seize the energies of the stars. This is my wish for you always, and I'll talk to you on the other side. Bye.